Hey guys, welcome back to the Woman in Progress podcast. I'm your host, Coach Lexi. If you don't know now, you know. And I just got back from Ireland, and I'm feeling so incredible. My intention for this podcast episode today is to not just share a little bit of just a little bit of life updates for my OGs here, and even if you're new here, get to know me a little bit more. But on my way back from Ireland, I it was an 8-hour flight, so I, of course, needed to, kill some time. And so one of those ways that I was able to do that was, um, on the flight that we were on, they did have podcasts available. The only podcast that they did have available, though, was this podcast called Modern Wisdom, and I believe the host, his name is Chris, and David Goggins was one of the hosts. And for those who don't know who David Goggins is, he's the author of the book Can't Hurt Me. It's an incredible book. Love him or hate him. He's really evolved his message, his mission over time. And if you're anybody who really is always trying to build that discipline muscle, that mental toughness muscle, so you can actualize or manifest the things that you desire in your life, whether that's your dream body or your desired, financial situation, where you're not just like making money and feeling like you have to sacrifice your passion, but you can have both, right? Or your soulmate, your divine union, your desired relationship, your purpose, whatever it is, that requires discipline, right? So David Goggins is one of those people that I truly believe you definitely have to take with a grain of salt. But if anybody's going to get you up and going, it's him. And so what I want to do for today's podcast is, if you're watching the video of this, I have 6 main takeaways that really, really hit home for me. And I have a feeling if they hit home for me, that they will hit home for you. And so I just want to share these takeaways with you guys today and, hear your guys' feedback. What really stood out to you? What really, took away for you? And if you want to listen to this podcast for yourself, um, it was about 2 hours, which I thought was great to kill time on an 8-hour flight back home. I almost even listened to it twice because it was that good for me. You could just look up on YouTube Modern Wisdom, David Goggins, and that'll be the episode. Now, I have these 6 main takeaways, and they're so freaking good. But before we get into that, I want to tell you guys how my trip to Dublin went. For those who don't know, I went to Dublin, Ireland for 7 days to witness one of my best friends get married to her high school sweetheart. And I turned 27 this year, and I'm really entering the age where my best friends are getting married and they're gonna have kids, and it's just so beautiful. And I'm just so excited to witness this part of like their lives with them and be a part of that chapter. Um and my mom came with me. So it was amazing for her to actually experience Ireland and to get out of, DR. For those who don't know, her and my dad, yeah, my mom and my dad moved to Dominican Republic, where my dad is from. And he's been loving it, but like she's been needing a little bit of like exploration, leaving the four kind of walls of DR. She also doesn't speak Spanish. So, I think that there can kind of be like a bit of a struggle. And so I think for her really expanding, and she's a writer as well. And so I think for her to be able to take my mom to Dublin, I thought was amazing. Um and I honestly had so much fun with her. It was amazing. We were there for St. Patrick's Day, so we got super lit. It was so much fun. And the fact that I'm also on this gut and skin healing journey, for those who don't know, I'm working with a gut and hormone coach right now to really clear up my skin. And the way that we're doing that is through correcting my gut issues, which will then heal my hormones and all of the things. Um, to actually be on that trip and not experience any bloating. And I was drinking every day, and I was still making aligned food choices, like doing what I can. But like bro, like I used to like get bloated just by looking at food. I would have anxiety. And now just the fact that I'm not, and I'm only a few weeks into this protocol is amazing. Now I don't have like the worst like GI map stool test. Like it was actually a very simple thing to correct. Um But I thought that that was great, and, just the fact that, like, Lexi not too long ago, like, she would go on vacation and be up 10 pounds, and, old Lexi would've wanted to do this, like, 7-day detox to, like, cleanse my body and, try to reverse the quote, unquote "damage" from vacation, and it's like, gaining 10 pounds should not be that easy. If you're gaining 10 pounds after the holidays, after trips, like, that is like not normal. And you know obviously if everybody's weight fluctuates differently, but like at the same time that indicates that you're probably under eating outside of the vacations. You're probably restricting, whether you're aware of it or not, in some way shape or form, even if you're trying to make healthy choices. And if you feel like you're always focusing on losing weight, but you feel like you can just like look at food and gain weight, that's because you need less time focusing on losing weight and you need more time focusing on maintenance. And, most people really quote unquote lock in when they have a weight loss goal. But once they reach that weight loss goal, it kind of all goes out the window, or they don't have an exit strategy and they're just living in this calorie deficit mindset. So, that's why we built out our fit body frequency framework, because excuse me, we're able to meet you where you're at and make sure that you're priming your metabolism to lose body fat and, really be in a strong place metabolically, because losing weight hasn't been your issue. Attempting to lose weight hasn't been your issue. It's actually maintaining it and keeping it off and really being able to live in your body and feel good about it, right? And nourish and fuel your body. So, um, that is a conversation for another day. I have plenty of podcasts that go into more of the fitness and body recomp kind of topics. But I just wanted to slide that in because, um, you know, I went on a 7-day trip and I maintained my weight and I felt really lean and I felt really good. And I made time to work out, not because I feel like I needed to, because if I don't work out, then like I'm gonna gain weight. And if I don't work out, then and from that energy, but genuinely from an energy and from a space of I want to feel good. I drank a little bit more this week. I had 3 espresso martinis. I ate out for all of my meals. I barely drink water. I got maybe 60 grams of protein. If I'm gonna do anything for my body, I'm gonna go work out and I enjoy it. And I think that is such a different energy instead of thinking, what can my body do for me, but what can I do for my body? And that's just such a different energy. Um, and frequency to operate in within your body, um okay, within your body and your health and fitness journey and your overall wellness, then like I need to do this because if not, then I'm going to be up in weight and I don't want my weight to go up. And like I need to do this because if not, then it's like, bro, like your energy is everything. Like you could be working out every single day and like coming from this place of anxiety, and like that's gonna have a different effect than doing it from a place of empowerment and what can I do for my body? How do I want to feel? Right. So if you're interested in learning more about being supported with your health, your fitness goals, your overall wellness, working on your relationship with food, nutrition, and really getting this physique building thing down. But more importantly, you really want to go deep into the layers of who do I need to be, and healing your gut and healing your hormones and really having a holistic approach to becoming your own body goals. Um, then all you have to do is apply for our premium coaching experience, embody her, with the link within the show notes below. And how this works is you'll apply, I'll reach out to you, we'll set up a call, learn a little bit more about where you're at, if it's a good fit, if it makes sense financially, and then we can take it from there. That's all. But only apply if you're really serious about making a change, because so many people apply thinking that it's gonna like, oh, I applied for coaching and there's a big difference between motion and action, right? So I'm not going to force anybody to do anything they're not ready for. But this at least allows us to start that conversation. All right. Now, Ireland was amazing. For those who don't know, again, I recently went through a breakup, pretty heartbreaking one in December. Went through a big like healing vortex in Dominican Republic. Um, and he was supposed to be with me on that trip, but like it's kind of crazy because I really like being with my mom. It honestly felt better. Like it felt like it almost makes me like realize that it's not the person that we miss, but what the person represents. And what the person represents, and it's like why we want anything in life. It's like, why do we want anything in life? Because the way that we feel, it'll make us feel, or the way it makes us feel. Right. When we think about relationships or love or a specific person, it's like you may miss certain aspects of them, but what you really want is intimacy. What you really want is that shared bonding. And you can do that with other people, with, family members that you love, or cousins or friends, and sisterhood and community. And so I'm really, really grateful because I've been able to really remedy that with like pole dance and the woman that I meet in pole, and family and friends and connections. And obviously it's not always the same as like that person, but like I know that that person is out there for me. And um it was really, really great having my mom there with me. If you ever go to Dublin, Ireland, I highly recommend. um Definitely, we didn't get to see the Cliffs of Moher, but like my best friend who got married, I saw her stories and they looked incredible. We did a different tour, which I probably wouldn't recommend, but it was beautiful as well. Um and there's just so much to do in Dublin. I would honestly just go. I didn't have an itinerary. I just like to explore and like go. And it was amazing. I am traveling to Spain in end of May for like 10 days. I'm going to be in Menorca, which is like the beach part of Spain, one of the beautiful islands in Spain, Menorca for like 5, 6 days. Then I'm going to be in Madrid for like 5 days. I'm just so freaking excited. So, more to come on that, more to come. I just know that I feel like my highest self when I'm traveling. So, with that being said, y'all, let's switch gears here. Let's go into my biggest takeaways for today for the podcast that I listened to with my dog, Goggins. Okay. Number one takeaway that I got from that podcast was your power is in your ability to perform without always needing purpose, right? We're always looking for this outside purpose. But the truth is, your purpose never leaves you. Your purpose is always with you because your purpose is you. And when you pursue you as your purpose, your secondary purpose will naturally reveal itself. That was huge for me. And I have a feeling if you're listening to this, it'll be huge for you as well. Because I think a lot of us, when it comes to career, money, and just what we want to contribute to this lifetime, we can sometimes have this whisper of like, I feel like I'm meant for more. I feel like I'm meant to do more, to be more, but I don't know what that is. Maybe it's a podcast. Maybe it's starting a community, an in person community. Maybe it's becoming a Pilates instructor. Maybe like there's so many fucking different career ideas. And, when we think about purpose, we tend to think about career and impact and, where we want to make income and make our impact our income and vice versa, and how we want to serve others. Um, However that looks like for you. Even me, like I have such a long journey and such a long history of, you know, my relationship with food and body image, and then being this big party girl and really wanting to like level up out of my environment, and this identity of like a lazy party girl who like really thrived in academics and career but like really struggled with her body and her relationship with food and her discipline with fitness. And then transforming into a bodybuilder and being hyper disciplined with that, but then struggling with binge eating and rebounding and finding a good balance to then having balance, and then falling off track and then becoming a career woman, really starting my business and going full time in my business and shifting identities from online coach to really CEO and entrepreneur and businesswoman, and putting my health on the back burner and getting in a relationship and struggling with things and just healing and transforming. And there's just so much that we are always going through and always evolving. And it's like sometimes we can always feel like we're meant for more. And for me, it's like I've built this business that impacts so many women, but I still feel like deeper. I want deeper. I want more. Not from a place of like, I need more, but like deeper, depth, purpose, impact. Like, I want to impact women even deeper. And I'm learning that like the things that I'm going through, I don't share enough about. I really don't. And my goal is to share more about that. Like literally when it comes to sex, intimacy wounds, like money, wealth, entrepreneurship, like transformation. I don't share enough about it. And my goal is to share more about that. Because the truth is that your purpose is you. This secondary purpose that like you're looking for in your career is not going to like do the research, listen to your soul pull, right? Ask ChatGPT a million questions, pull up your astrological birth chart and like book a reading with an astrologist. Like I literally did a podcast with my friend Stuart King, who's an incredible astrologer who can help you identify the points in your chart that like literally what your purpose is tied to and your career and like what is going to support. Like I love astrology. Astrology has helped me so much to define my purpose and help me move toward my purpose, and am I on the right track, and like what am I doing. And I wish more people utilized it more because it's a beautiful science. Um, like if you want to ask me, Lexi, how did you find your purpose? I listen to my intuition. I follow what my soul is being called to, or what lights me up, what sets me on fire. And I follow that. I don't let self-doubt get in the way. Like I do have self-doubt, but I don't let it get in the way. I have my vision board, a reverse engineer, all the things. I keep God at the center and I get help. I have mentors. I've always had mentors. Like I literally have not never had a mentor or a coach. Like you don't do this on your own, guys. Like you don't. Like that's not how humans are built. And I know sometimes when we feel like we've been let down in the past, we feel like we can only rely on ourselves. But that's just a defense mechanism and it's gotten you nowhere. Maybe you made some progress. It's not that you're incapable, but we go farther together than we do alone because that's just how we're built, right? So there was two things for me, and again, I want to know how this resonates with you. Is one, I felt like, like if I don't have that feeling of purpose, whether it's in my health and fitness journey or my business, like then it's harder for me to show up. And then really, that's just like motivation, right? You're not always going to feel motivated. Um, but your power is in your ability to perform without purpose. You're not always going to feel that purpose. You're not always going to feel that motivation, that drive. Your confidence is going to come from your ability to execute on the daunting, mundane tasks, even when you're not feeling super connected to your vision and your purpose, because you know that long term that that's what you want. And it's not always going to be like super motivating and super aligned and super exciting all the time. It's not. Even if you really love it. Okay. It's coming from someone who's passionate about what I do. And the second part was really just like, if you are someone who's always kind of feeling like, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? That's beautiful because it means that you know that you're meant for more and you're on the search. So, congratulations. Keep seeking, keep, you know, taste testing different things and really feeling and like give things a chance. I feel like sometimes we get shiny object syndrome and we don't really commit to something. Commit and like give yourself time to really grow. And your purpose is not something you have to find or search for because your purpose has never left you. Your purpose has always been with you because your purpose is you. And when you pursue you, your secondary purpose, what you're meant to contribute to this world, will reveal itself. That's just how it is. Okay. That feels great. Which brings me to my second biggest takeaway from Daddy Goggins. Dream big. Dream big, but don't let your dreams be your master. Be the master of your dreams by mastering the daily daunting mundane tasks. I thought this part was so powerful because if you're listening to this podcast, in some way, shape, or form, you're probably a dreamer. You have a vision that you want to create for your life. You have a career that you're pursuing. You have like a relationship that you're working on, or, whatever. You're always working towards becoming your best self. And we all have areas that we get in our own way. That's just an ultimate truth, no matter who you are. Hello. But the reason why this stuck out to me is because one, sometimes I think we're afraid to dream bigger. We're afraid sometimes to dream bigger because, maybe there's a part of us that feels like we haven't even mastered like the little things, which I think is important and I think is great self-awareness because yeah, master the little things and then we can start focusing on the big things. But I think that there's so much value in dreaming big because then you can really reverse engineer what is it that you need to do today and who do you need to become today to become a vibrational match for that bigger vision, whatever that may be for you. Because when it comes to actualizing the things in your life and manifesting the things that you want in your life, it really is about who do I need to become, right? And what we mean by don't let your dreams be your master is sometimes when we do have a vision for our life, whether it's your dream body or a dream relationship or, financial freedom, sometimes, a lot of times, we spend 80% of our time dreaming and escaping into like the dream and visualizing like the dream and consuming content about people who live the life that we want to live, right? Get ready with me vlogs and you want this morning routine and you want to, live this kind of life and you have a vision for your life. But the action steps, it's like 20% action, or you're bouncing from thing to thing to thing. Or, and again, that's not always a bad thing, right? Like you gotta sometimes find what it is for you and play trial and error, yada yada yada. Um, but dream big. Just don't let your dreams be your master. Being the master of your dreams means, okay, this is my big picture vision for my life, right? Whatever that is for you. You know, for me, it's really this divine union partnership, like power couple vibes. His vision for his life needs to match my vision for my life, which is pretty fucking big. And I don't share it with everybody because they look at me like I'm crazy, which means it's a good thing. Okay. I don't want an average life. And because I don't want an average life, I cannot be fucking average. And if I cannot be fucking average and I want to lead an amazing life, it starts with how I lead myself. And you may not have this huge vision for your life. I mean, for a long time, I didn't feel like I did. I was like, I just need to make this amount of money, pay my bills, be able to travel and live comfortably. And like, that's all I really need. Like, I don't need anything more than that. And if that's you, that is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. If that's your vision, right? That dream goes away and the fucking laundry list of what we need to do and the habits and who do I need to become in order to be a vibrational match for that. So let's make this simple. Let's say, you know, uh, your dream body, okay? You want to feel strong. You want to feel confident. You want to feel sexy naked. You want to feel desirable and attractive and, healthy and have a good relationship with food and really feel alive in your body. Because at the end of the day, we want to be our body at its best selves, not just because like we feel like the way that we look will change the way that we feel, but by changing the way that we feel, this will then change the way that we look, which will then allow us to like feel even better, attract better opportunities, have more confidence because who you need to become in the process is going to test you and make you build confidence. Because confidence comes from not shouting affirmations in the mirror, which was in the podcast. This is a quote. not me, shouting affirmations at the mirror, but by building a lot, like a fucking undeniable mountain of evidence that you are who you say you are. And so if every single time you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, we're not going to be perfect. We're not going to be perfect. We're not going to maintain this perfect streak of consistency. But like confidence comes from belief, and lack of belief comes from lack of evidence. And lack of evidence comes from you choosing your like old habits and comfort and like and operating in an old identity and old mental patterning. And that's all it is. It's literally breaking the habit of being yourself. It's not always that deep. So it's literally embodying that new identity. Right. And so when we think about, okay, one of my dreams is to, maybe it's to have a podcast, maybe it's to be a content creator, maybe it's to whatever it is. We're going to use building your desired physique, having a good relationship, all the wellness, health and wellness things. Right. We're just going to do that. You can consume as much content as you want around weight loss and consume all this inspiration and look at your vision board. But like, if you don't have a strategy to get there, you are like, your dreams are your master. Being the master of your dreams is breaking down what it is that you want into tangible, smart, measurable daily tasks and habits and who you need to become. And so for me, sometimes when you dream big and you have these things that you want, maybe there's a part of you that feels like maybe it's too big. Maybe it's not possible for you. So it stays a dream. And this is when your dreams become your master. But if you believe that when you desire something, that is a desire that God has put into your heart, and it's up to you whether you want to actualize it or not, and that's all you have to do, and you believe that if I have this desire, whether it's to build muscle and lose fat and like really look a certain way and feel good in my body and master nutrition and wellness in my body and heal trauma and wounds and all of the things I can fucking go in, or to start a business or to move to a certain area in the world or to have like whatever it is that your desired life is. It's like God put that in your heart for a reason. And so when we become the master of our dreams, we become the master of our dreams by mastering the daily daunting tasks, by understanding that it's not always going to be easy, by understanding that you're going to be met with friction. And those are really just tests from the universe, from God, is like, do you really want what you say that you want? Or does it just sound nice? And if it just sounds nice, then you probably need to be in a little bit more pain. And sometimes that sucks. And you don't have to wait to get to that pain. But for a lot of us humans, we're motivated to move away from pain than we are more motivated to move toward pleasure. But it doesn't have to be that way. Moving on. The third main takeaway for me was how David Goggins was talking about armoring up your mind and your body before the day starts. Raise your hand if you have a habit sometimes. We all do it from time to time, maybe more times than not than we would like. You wake up and you go on your phone. And maybe you're brushing your teeth and you just start to go on your phone. It's like fucking, I feel like going on your phone in the morning can sometimes be the equivalent of like, in like the 90s or whenever the fuck they had newspapers, where like you open the newspaper, right? And you're just kind of like, it's almost like, what's new? What's going on? Like, what's up? But the thing is that you're literally, your subconscious mind is the most sensitive and spongy first thing in the morning and right before bed. So if we're waking up and we are just fucking consuming from like everybody else, no wonder you're scatterbrained. No wonder you feel like your life isn't good enough. No wonder you feel like everybody else is great and you're stuck and like all of these stupid fucking things that aren't true. And so what Goggins talks about in the morning is he talks about armoring up your mind and your body and your spirit before getting into your day, before getting into work, before serving others. Serve yourself before you serve others so you can serve others to the best of your ability, right? And this was huge because Again, how many times do you wake up and you have good intentions to have this like holy fucking morning routine and you go on your phone or you get straight into work or you say that you're going to go to bed on time so that you can wake up early, but then you stay up on your phone. And that phone is fucking poison. So what he says is that he armors up in the morning, and this can look different for everybody. Um but really armoring up is just really about, again, pouring into yourself before you pour into the rest of like everybody else, into work, the kids, and your day. And so for you, maybe this looks like waking up, doing a devotional or doing a little bit of gratitude or just connecting with your higher self through meditation, taking a few deep breaths, visualizing, you know, your dream life, and then going to work out or getting in a walk and making a nice breakfast, and then you get into work. Then you get into your phone. It really can be that simple. I'm not a big fan of like routines in the sense of like, I don't like doing the same thing every single morning. However, I do have non negotiables. So, my non negotiables for night and morning are for nighttime and morning time. For nighttime, it's a digital detox by 9:30 p.m., non-negotiable, off my phone, and I swap it with cleaning the house, doing my skincare, reading a book, journaling, meditating, maybe I do embodiment practice, whatever it is, anything but that damn phone. I make it easy for myself because I literally put it to charge away from out of sight, out of mind. And then I can go to bed on time. Because I can go to bed on time, I can wake up on time, and I wake up early. I will not lie. It is definitely difficult at times to like not go on my phone. But what I've been doing is I pause and I ask myself right as I'm reaching for my phone, because I'll notice myself reaching for my phone and I'll be like, why am I reaching for my phone right now? Well, like, what is the purpose? If it's to maybe check client messages, it's like, can we wait until we're full? Our cup is full. Like, let's just put this off right now because it does not need to be get done right now. They know that our office hours are 10:30 to 7:30. My clients, you listening, I love you so fucking much because I love how you support your coaches and being supported. And it's because we have that boundary, right? So we can serve you best, because Lexi's stressed out scatterbrain. Like, I'm not gonna give the best responses. I'm gonna be like, I'm not, that's not gonna be my best. But anyway, I'm going off track. Um, armor up your mind, armor up your body. What this allows you to do is you actually get to go into work and go into your day from a really nourished place instead of scattered and chaotic. Like, if you literally, and I say this with love, wake up, you go to bed. And again, nuance here, guys. I don't know who the fuck is listening to this. Your fucking life. So, grain of salt. If you go to bed late because you're on your phone late and you're watching TV, okay, you wake up late and you roll over in bed and you're already dealing with the kids and work, and you complain about being scatterbrained and overwhelmed and chaotic. And I don't fucking feel bad for you, because this is within your control. So, nobody's coming to save you. What do you need to do? And this is so fucking simple. And we can either have excuses and we can either defend our limitations, because I do hear people at times, and this has happened to me in business and in the past, where I'm not even realizing that I'm defending my limitations. Well, I couldn't because this, and well, I can't because that, and well, I was going to, but, or you can defend your vision. You can defend who you want to become. And what that means is, are we focusing on solutions or are we focusing on problems? Because if you're focusing on why you can't and why it's hard, boo fucking who, shorty. What are the fucking solutions? And if you're struggling to find solutions, get a coach in your corner. Well, I can't because money and I can't because time. Well, if you wanted to go on a vacation, you would drop that money real quick. Money is about values. And so, yes, there's nuanced situations where, maybe your financial situation, blah blah blah. But like 9 times out of 10 has little to do with money, has more to do with values and priorities and your willingness to get resourceful, right? So, going back to my point, armoring up at night, armoring up your mind, your body, your spirit, doing that. And if this triggers you, it means that it's accurate for you, because you only get triggered if the shoe fits, Cinderella. If the shoe fits, and I love you. Like, I'm going to be the real ass bitch to keep it real with you from a place of love. I'm not going to coddle you and tell you sweet nothings. to make you feel better about your situation. You know, like nobody's coming to save us. We have to take control. And that fucking phone literally steals our creativity, our, motivation, our drive, and we all fall victim to it sometimes. So armor yourself the fuck up. Can you tell I've been listening to David Goggins? Moving on. This part was powerful for me. And if you're someone who's always thinking like, I need to be more disciplined, like I can't rely on motivation, I thought that this was powerful. And I think this will be powerful for you if you did get triggered by the past thing that I just said, where you're like, maybe you are, like I said, nuance, right? Um, Sometimes we're struggling with our mental health. And because we're struggling with our mental health, we get into freeze mode. And because we get into freeze mode, we scroll on our phones and we numb and we escape with these technologies. And because of that, we're not consistent in our routines. Is it an excuse? No, but it is a reality of mental health at times. And that is some of the nuance here, right? Um, but I thought that this was powerful. Goggins was saying on the podcast that like the podcaster was saying, you know, yeah, you can't rely on motivation, you got to rely on discipline, which we all hear and I've said and it's true, right? But he was saying you can't have discipline if you're there's no fucking mental clarity and you're all over the place, right? So like a good analogy that he used was like, let's say you have like a garage. Like it's easier to be disciplined when your garage is like organized and you want to go work out, you know where the dumbbells are. The dumbbells are right there. You go work out and like it's easy to be disciplined, easier when like things have like their fucking mental slots, right? However, it is very difficult to be disciplined if you don't clear the clutter in your life. And I thought that this was powerful because it's so true. I mean, how many times have you felt like you just need to be more disciplined, but you feel all over the place, right? Whether it is because of your habits, whether it is because of like, mental health, which again comes from your thoughts, your habits, the way that you're living, the way that you're eating, like all of these things affect each other, right? Like it's like that reel, that TikTok where it's like, are you depressed or have you not got sunshine? And like you've been fucking inside all day. Are you really depressed or have you like literally been eating like shit and like ordering out for every meal and like staying inside all day, not getting in movement, scrolling on your phone all the time? Like, are you depressed or you just keep fucking letting these lame ass guys take up energy and space in your phone? It's like, you got to take responsibility, right? But in those nuanced situations, it's like, we got to clear the clutter in our life and that'll make it easier to be disciplined, right? In terms of like the next level goals and the bigger visions that we have in our life. So there's four main areas, and this wasn't in the podcast, but this is what we work on with our clients when it comes to getting organized. There's four core areas that we want to clear the clutter in your life. Physical clutter, easy. Your space, your environment. You're not always going to be able to control that. Let's say you live with somebody who's a hoarder, or you live with somebody where like you can't always be in control of the physical clutter. I live with my sister. I'm super fucking clean and organized. She is not. I am not always in control of that, but like I try my best. And like you are affected by your environment, right? You just are. But like what is within our control here? If you live with like a hoarder or like a horrible fucking roommate, or like you have kids and it's like you clean the house and it gets crazy and you just feel like you can't function unless the house is clean. It's like, well, what if it's not always going to be clean? What is within your control? And what can we do? Right? Maybe your room is the only fucking thing, or like your little office space, and like maybe add plants, beautify, whatever it is. Physical clutter. Then you have emotional clutter. So this is like releasing trauma, addressing your emotional state, like really being with your emotions, whether that's journaling, talk therapy, meditation, shadow work, like actually addressing your emotional state instead of numbing. Third area of clutter to clear is mental clutter. So this is overthinking, overstimulation, too much screen time, overthinking too much. Again, brain dump journaling is really good, where you just like vomit out words onto a piece of paper, how you're feeling, managing your screen time, consuming less, being more in nature, that kind of thing, being with loved ones, living more life in like life, right? And then digital clutter. So this is like storage, notifications, it's like really clearing that out. So out of all of those 4 areas of clutter you need to clear, what are the top 2 that you know for a fact, if you were to clear clutter in these areas of your life, you would be more disciplined? Easy. Physical and digital for me. Maybe for you it's mental and emotional. Okay, so like what is one thing or 2 things that you can do right now to make yourself feel better? Maybe it's getting in a workout, maybe it's going on a walk, maybe it's spending time in nature, maybe it's journaling, maybe it's whatever the fuck. Do that. And then that'll create space for you to be more disciplined. Okay? And that's what he calls mental zones. So I thought that was super cool. So we're now at 40 minutes, guys. And that is pretty much the main takeaways that I got from that podcast episode. I thought it was amazing. Um, and it's like how I said, I really want to share more with you. Like I have so much stories around my own transformations. Um, and like I feel like the more that I evolve, the more that like my brand evolves, and like even the way that I want to create impact for you guys and women all around. It's like, I've been a holistic nutrition and training coach um with an expertise in like NLP and subconscious reprogramming. And, I've manifested in my own life, and I really am passionate about helping you guys really manifest, actualize, and create your dream life. Um, and so I just want to continue to evolve my brand and my offers to really help you as the entire woman, right? Because there's so much that goes into our life as a woman. There's intimacy and sex and love and relationships. That is one core pillar. Then you have, you know, uh money and wealth and possibly entrepreneurship, not for everybody, but I think we can all agree that like finances and wealth and money is something that we all want more of, so we can continue to live a life of our dreams and invest in ourselves and travel and do all the things that we want, because things cost money in this world, right? um health, fitness, wellness, your body, relationship with food, relationship with your body, and all of those areas of life I have been doing so much work in and transforming in. And it's honestly fucking shame that I have not talked more about this. And my promise to you is to continue to share my stories and how I'm transforming and how I'm applying these things in my life, so you can continue to have deep pleasure and receive more and to live more and to feel alive in your body and in your relationships and in your financial situation, and expand your consciousness, because that is what I want for you and for every single person in your fucking life. So subscribe to this podcast if you haven't already. If you want more episodes, you're gonna want to stay tuned. I have an actual schedule now for filming podcasts, so like the consistency will absolutely be there. Whereas before I kind of just recorded on a whim and just tried to make sure that it was at least up once a week, and then I would fall off. So my promise to you guys is that to have these up weekly, to make sure we're making that impact. I'm going to bring on sick fucking guests on this podcast that are going to help you expand and change your life. And I'm just really, really grateful to have you here on this journey, especially because you're at the beginning, really, of this journey that I'm on with, again, building these brands and these offers that are going to help change your life, literally change your fucking life. And that is my fucking promise and my desire and my deepest, deepest desire for you. So would love to hear your takeaways. I love you guys. I'll see you on the next one. I'm going to go train legs now. Goodbye.